Hello YouTube, this is Lion's Den with another news and commentary. Last year, a brother named Ryan Outlaw out of Salt Lake City was stabbed by his girlfriend, right? But then when Salt Lake City police arrived, they didn't do a damn thing to save this man's life. So I will give a shout out to Fox 13 with this story. But it shows you how officers treated black people when they needed help. Now, you know what the officer did? He didn't do CPR. He didn't do a damn thing. What he did was he was seeing TikTok, watching TikTok videos while the man was dying. So let's go ahead and play this video. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, that this video could be too disturbing to some viewers, and I'm gonna tell you like this, that if you have children under the age of 18, I suggest they shouldn't watch this video. It's too graphic. So due to the graphic nature of this video, that's too disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. So let's go ahead and play this Fox 13 investigation in Salt Lake City, and then I'm gonna continue the rest of my commentary.
Are you letting him just please let?
We're not paramedics. We have medical on the way.
No matter how much training that you get, if you don't act on it, it's no good.
Ryan, crawl out of the elevator, okay?
Did officers prioritize correctly? I don't believe they did. I didn't even see minimal effort to protect this person's life.
Tonight, Fox 13 News investigates why Salt Lake City police officers chose not to give any first aid to a stabbing victim who had already waited nearly a half an hour for first responders to arrive.
The police department says it's backing the officers despite criticism from the law enforcement community.
Fox 13 News investigative reporter Adam Herbetz has tonight's investigation when first responders wait.
We want to warn you, even though the victim is blurred, this body camera video from November 13th, 2020 might be difficult to watch. But as you do, pay attention to the timer we've added in the upper right-hand corner. That's approximately how long it took Salt Lake City police to arrive. And it is still ticking because even though they got there, the people we've interviewed say these first responders never truly responded to the emergency.
911, what is your emergency?
She's like rummaging through her, like trying to pull out knives, and she's like screaming. Oh my gosh, she's knocking on my door right now.
Ma'am, what apartment do you
live in?
Oh
my god, okay, he's been stabbed.
What's going on? What's going on?
What's going on? Hey.
According to the Salt Lake City Police Department, the first 911 call was 27 minutes ago.
Hi, I have some neighbors fighting in the hallway.
The response was slow because they say there weren't any officers available to respond for 20 minutes.
He's crying for help. He's limping over to the elevator. He's crying for an ambulance.
This body camera video is from officers Ian Anderson and Jada Brown walking into the Covey Apartments on South Temple.
What happened, man? Hey, talk to me, man.
They found the victim, Ryan Outlaw, in the elevator. They didn't know it yet, but they also found his girlfriend, the woman who stabbed him.
Ryan, what's going on, man?
Do you know what happened at all, Ryan?
Watch and listen. While police ask questions, the stabber is the one most concerned with Ryan not receiving any first aid.
Ryan, crawl out of the elevator, okay? Hey, come this way. Fernie, get inside right now.
You're not doing anything about it.
What am I supposed to do? We have medical
I
coming.
need you to cooperate with us so we can help him.
Can I go out there and help him?
No, I don't want you to go out there.
Officers stood over him for about 8 minutes, asking questions and giving commands. They never touched him.
Ryan! Ryan!
Tell him to get up and get out the elevator. You got to move out the elevator. As if he got some disease or something.
This is Ryan Outlaw's father in Mississippi. He had never seen the video until we showed it to him. We had never seen it until anonymous members of the law enforcement community told us to investigate.
Do you know what happened?
It's not very common for police to criticize other police. So what do you think it says that other officers were so concerned about this that they're the ones who brought this to our attention?
That's really surprising. That's really surprising.
My question throughout the entire video, why did they not do direct pressure? You don't just allow that to happen and say, oh, the paramedics are coming eventually.
Chris Burbank used to be the Salt Lake City police chief. He says he was shocked with what he saw.
I don't know. Is it a blood situation? Why? Why are you not paying more attention to this person who's bleeding out in an elevator?
In Utah, all officers go through 4 hours of first aid and CPR training, plus an 8-hour class designed to help trauma patients.
Being able to stop bleeds and save lives, the curriculum that we teach, we feel puts them in the best position to be successful.
Deputy Director Alex Garcia with Post chose not to give an opinion on this case, but said he was proud of the training his agency gives to officers throughout the state.
They're expected to make a situation better when they arrive to the best of their ability.
No matter how much training that you get, if you don't act on it, it's no good.
Ryan, stay with me.
Officer Ian Anderson wrote in his report he could not give first aid because he didn't want the elevator to close.
And if the elevator closing and leaving the floor is so important, pull the person out.
I got an ambulance coming right here.
Let's my stomach.
Who did? You don't know? Okay, the medical's here right now.
Can't breathe.
Okay, I got medical. They're right outside.
He's right here.
The priority is here. After the fact is solving the crime, everything else is secondary to the well-being of that person. That is so obviously your priority when you walk into that situation that it hurts to watch.
Ryan Outlaw died at the hospital 2 hours, 10 minutes after the first 911 call.
He had a twin here, and he had 4 boys. He was a people's person. Everybody loved him. We don't know what a few more minutes or seconds or whatever could have made a difference. We don't know.
That's just as dangerous to the well-being of the policing profession as inappropriately shooting somebody.
Does the police department have a responsibility to address this?
Oh, without question. If they don't, this just contributes to the further mistrust that exists, the crisis that we're experiencing in law enforcement today.
The department said Chief Mike Brown was not available to answer our questions, but his spokesperson sent an email saying Salt Lake City police officers are guardians of our community. They are committed to preserving life. They understand the community might have questions, but the department stands by the decision of its officers.
I think the most important thing is that this is brought to public light. These are legitimate public questions because those officers did not meet my expectation. And I want to know why.
Fernanda Tobar was convicted earlier this year of manslaughter and will spend up to 5 years in prison. The family does have an attorney, but Ryan's father said he's not sure what they're going to do next. Reporting in studio tonight, Adam Herbets, Fox 13 News, Utah.
I'd like to thank Fox 13 Utah for this investigative story. You know, when you have a man dying, I don't give a damn if because of an elevator closing. Your job as a law enforcement officer or a police officer to drag this man out and save this man's life. That's why when you sworn in to protect and serve, that's your job. That's your duty. Before any paramedics or any medical staff comes and try to save his life, your job as a police officer is to save this man's life. And unfortunately, they didn't do that. Now, the girlfriend of the alleged victim that was stabbed, Ryan Outlaw, I think she's been charged with manslaughter, as I've been told by this news clip there. But the reality is that this man should have been saved. They should have saved his life. And by a police officer that was there, because, well, I'm afraid that the elevator will close, then your damn job is to pull this man out of the elevator and still save this man's life. That is not an excuse for that. And because of that, he's no longer here. You know, this incident happened 2 years ago. And now Now there's been reported there's another video that come out from Fox 13 that the Salt Lake City police has responded to their investigation. But keep in mind, and they still support these officers, even though they refused to even save this man's life. All they did was watching TikTok videos. That's all they did. If you don't want to be a police officer, then don't even, just turn in your badge and turn in your gun and resign. But see, you see law enforcement officers like this don't give a damn about this man. He is bleeding, he is dying, and your job as a police officer is do CPR and try to save this man's life until medical staff or paramedics will arrive. But they didn't do that in this case. And the father, the father wasn't even in Salt Lake City. The father and his twin brother and the rest of the family lives in Mississippi. But I believe they have an attorney. But you heard what the reporter says, that they don't even know what to do, how they're going to start over again. But ladies and gentlemen, it shows you that these officers need to be held accountable for their actions, because they refuse to even save this man's life, even though he is dying from a stab wound, and they don't give a damn. So again, if I were these police officers, these police unions are going to back these officers regardless. But there's more questions than answers. If you knew this man has been stabbed, why wouldn't you do CPR or do a medical kit to try to save this man's life, instead of just standing there, just basically wait for this man to die? That's not what cops do. That's not how you sworn in and do protect and serve. That's not how you do. If you've been called in with the police, your job is to save this man's life. He's been stabbed by his girlfriend. He is dying. And all you do is just standing there and watching TikTok videos. That is totally unacceptable in any law enforcement facility. So my thoughts and prayers goes to Ryan Outlaw's family. This is a tragedy among tragedy, because you trust these police officers to save this man's life, and they refuse to do so, and now he's no longer here. So YouTube, let me know what you think about this story. Even though it happened 2 years ago, but I still believe that the Salt Lake City Police Department need to be held accountable for the loss of this man, because they could have had every opportunity to save this man's life, but they refused to do it. All because they felt they don't want to touch him, and then they fear that they want to close the elevator door. Hell with the elevator door. Your job as a police officer is to save this man's life before any paramedics or anybody else come to arrive to take him to the hospital. Your line of defense is to save this man's life, and you refuse to do that. And the Salt Lake City Police need to be held liable for this, as well as these officers. So YouTube, let me know what you think about this. Like, click, subscribe, and remember to click the notification bell for all the news and commentary. With that being said, this is Lions Den signing off. Deuces.